Have you ever wanted to set up a VM, but you don't know where to start? Wanted to try Linux without breaking your main computer? Well, I'll show you. And by the end of this video, you'll have your first VM running. But what is a VM? Well, a VM is basically a computer inside your computer. It's completely safe, totally free, and perfect for testing new operating systems. Let me show you exactly how to set up one. We'll cover checking your BIOS, chewing your VM software, downloading an OS, and getting your first virtual machine running. This whole process takes about 10 minutes, but I'll walk you through every step. Why are VMs useful? Well, to put it simply, VMs give you a safe environment to run different operating systems, softwares, and programs in a sandbox environment for learning and testing without risking any harm to your physical machines. And most importantly, VMs are free. So if you ever wanted to try Linux without risking your main computer or test software safely, virtual machines are your answer. I'm going to show you exactly how to set up one in the next few minutes. The first step is to make sure that you have virtualization on. Now, to do this, you simply can just click on your Windows icon, right click, then go to Task Manager. Once you have Task Manager pulled up, you want to go to this page, Performance. Right here, under CPU, you should see Virtualization, and if it says Disabled, you need to enable it. If it says Enabled, you're all good. Now, this varies from motherboard to motherboard because it'll be different in your BIOS. So I won't show you exactly how to do that, but if you look up your motherboard model or a general manufacturer name and how to enable virtualization, there are plenty of videos or ways to tell you what to look for. It's not a super difficult thing to do, but you do need to restart your computer and boot into BIOS by clicking delete, F2, or F12, one of those keys, upon startup. Cool. Now that we have virtualization enabled, there are multiple Chromiums to run VMs with. The one we're going to be using today, though, is Oracle's VirtualBox Manager. This is what I use personally, and it's really straightforward. So you can use others, though. There's VMware, which is now owned by Broadband, and it's free. But VirtualBox is really simple, and I'll walk you through how to do it. So for Windows, everyone knows that download is really simple, right? You essentially just open your browser, you go to download Windows 11, if that's what you want to run, click on the link, and it takes you here. Here, this is where you would want to download your ISO for Windows 11. You select multi-edition ISO and go through the steps, confirm, etc., etc. Now, say you want a VM with an older Microsoft operating system. You can actually say that you want Windows 7. Windows 7, ISO, Internet Archive. Internet Archive is a good place to find older ISO files for operating systems. You could see the link was purple, so I have used this to do a Windows 7 VM. And here, pretty simple. Click on the ISO file, download whichever one you want, Windows 7 regular, Windows 7 Pro 32-bit. For most computers, you're going to want to download 64-bit. For Linux, it's very similar. Oh, my bad. You want to just go to, say you want Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu, download desktop. I've already have it in there. You download this. This is your ISO file. Then you simply, now let's go back here to VirtualBox. Now that you have your ISO file, you may want to organize it into somewhere in File Explorer. Okay, now you have your ISO file. So in VM Manager, or VirtualBox Manager, sorry, you're going to want to open new so we can set up the virtual machine and name it whatever you want. For this one, I'll be naming it test. So this will be saving it here on your main drive, your boot drive. If this is the only place you can save it there. If you have other storage devices with more storage, then I recommend changing it. They will take up a lot of space. So I'm just going to throw this on my King's Fast drive in a new folder and call it VMs. That simple, right? Select folder. So it'll be on a different drive, plenty of space. For my ISO, we're going to go here and we're going to do Windows 11. Everything recognizes. We'll do test as my password, vbox user. So what this does is allows you to install it and then have a user ready to go. So you kind of skip all of the setup for the operating system that you normally do. If you have a product key, this is also where you'd want to enter it. But since you're just testing things, you don't really need a product key because you probably won't need to customize Windows anyways, or whatever else you're using. We'll go with the base specs here, 4 gigs of RAM, 2 CPUs, and 80 gigabytes of storage. Now, our VM's made, and since we just made it, it'll automatically power up. Now, we just need to press a key, let the install happen. Okay, and now our VM is up. You can do whatever you want to. So now, what I would do next is, if you're in full screen mode, you're going to click down here on this bar. And if you're not, it'll be up here at the top. I would go to Devices, Network Settings, and change this to Bridged Adapter instead of NAT. What this does now is this will use your onboard networking card, whether it be Wi-Fi or Ethernet. And you can choose either one. I have one in my PCI slot, and that's one I'm plugged into. So let's check that one. Then what this does is essentially connect your VM to your actual internet. So it's a device on your internet. With that being done, you now say you're running a server, like Ubuntu server, where it's just like terminal, text box, no GUI, or even just this, and you want to remote into it. If this VM's on and your VPN to your house, you can remote into your VM. Or if you're not on the machine you're hosting it on, and you don't have a monitor on that all the time, but you keep this VM up, you can now remote into it from whatever machine you're not hosting on that you use day to day and want to use to get to the VM. So that's important. This essentially just gives it an IP address on your actual network. So if we go into Ethernet settings, Ethernet network 3, we should see this IP address, and it's similar, and it's on the same network as my main machine. So if I wanted to remote in, I could. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. I will continue with this, doing a new task every day or every video that you can do in your virtual machine. Now, this is just a regular Windows 11 VM. Now, yes, you can do things on here, whatever you want, really. But I will do a Windows server, and I will go through and make a series of videos setting up my domain, running the Windows VM server, and I'll make a few more machines that are Windows 11, add them to the domain, and kind of go through that practice with you. I am still learning, so it'll be like me kind of coaching you as I learn. So there are also other VMs you can do. You can do any kind of Linux VM. Ubuntu is the one I'm working with right now and learning Ubuntu. Ubuntu server is non-GUI, meaning there's no graphical user interface. It's all command line, but there's still a lot of stuff you can do with that. And I think Linux commands are probably going to be important to learn if you want to go into the IT field or just in general have an interest in computers. So, with that being said, this is how you set up your first VM and kind of copy the steps for whatever ISO you download. And it's that simple. Mac OS is a little different, but I will make a video later on Mac OS if you want to run Mac VMs. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, next video, we're going to learn some things we can actually do, and subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks, guys.